And the thing is, I'm getting used to it. I'm learning how to talk on camera and not like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
Welcome back to Christina's Garage Gearhead in Training. Today we're at Classic Registration Service here in Citrus Heights. Let's go inside so I can introduce you to the owner, Tim Newey. Well, this is Tim Newey, the owner of multiple different businesses: Hot Rod Bookstore, Classic Registration Service, American Car Culture. What other businesses do you own right now?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Kind of soon after my dad passed, I was coming nearby to go to the 24-hour fitness. And on my way back, I saw there was a business with a ton of classic cars in front of it. What's the name of your brother's business?
Route 40 Classics.
Route 40 Classics. So I was driving past there, saw all the classic cars and figured, oh, well, let me just pull over and walk in there not knowing anything, not knowing what kind of question to ask, but just try to meet people. And funny that I talked about it off camera right before. Tim didn't remember this was the first time that we met, but I walked in there not knowing what to do and asked him, hey, can you help me? My dad died. He was so kind and showed me around his brother's shop, and this was before you owned the Hot Rod Bookstore. So after that, I started meeting you at your car shows because you host multiple different car shows locally, but you also travel around.
Right.
One really big thing for me that you've helped me with is getting connected with the classic car community. And I know that there are plenty of other people that have either moved locations, are new to the classic car community, or maybe they're not super into classic cars, but they like going to classic car shows. What would you suggest for those people in order to get connected?
Well, if they're in Northern California, they could subscribe to my NorCal Car Culture weekly newsletter. I send out an email with all the car shows, races, swap meets, even motorcycle events. Cover pretty much from Bakersfield to Oregon. And that's a great way to find all kinds of different events to go to. From Corvette stuff, late model, exotic cars to Volkswagens or pretty much whatever, and it's on there. It's listed by city, so that's a good way to start. I have websites and newsletters in a few of the other Western states, but also you could just go online and search for car clubs, and look at there. A lot of times they'll have a calendar. Look for that. Go on Facebook, wherever you're at, and you can search for, Massachusetts car shows. And stuff will come up. A lot of states have a lot of car culture in them. So it's not that hard to find if you go looking for it. And of course, I try to make it easier here in Northern California, but it's not too difficult.
And you cover other states too, right? Other than just kind of the Northern California?
Yeah, doing Arizona, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, a little bit in Utah, and trying to get Nevada going. So
that's cool. And so when you do that, do you have people in those states that kind of help you know what car shows are around, or how does that typically work?
Well, the longer I'm in a state, it seems like people start emailing me information about car shows, or if they find me on the internet, which happens after you've been established. But a lot of times I just go searching, just like I would if I was brand new to an area. And search, Craigslist, search Facebook, search, just do Google searches for car clubs, and pretty soon it seems like you find one, and then you find another one, and then you find another one. It kind of keeps going,
When I find also when I've gone to car shows, my car is in Denyon, so I haven't been able to take it to a show, but I see that a lot of people put actual flyers into other people's vehicles when they bring their classic cars. So as you said, like when you go to a place, then you'll kind of meet other people through that as well.
Right.
And one thing that I noticed is people are really friendly. Is that kind of like a normal thing? Like they when I ask questions, people are very outgoing and wanting to talk about their cars and all of that. Is that pretty universal from what you've noticed?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why I wanted to get into this business is because when people are around classic cars, they're generally happy. they don't look at a '57 Chevy and they're not all ticked off about stuff. It's kind of an escape from the difficulties of the real world sometimes, and people remember the good old days, and you're right. People are happy, and a lot of the times people, they put a lot of time and effort into building their cars or searching for their car, and they're usually pretty thrilled if someone takes an interest in it.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot, and that's one reason why I feel like I've been able to like build the relationships that I have, like with yourself and with some of the other people that are here kind of regularly. I hop in and hop out because I'm a little bit of a drifter. I like to travel and go around, but it's always been really nice to come back, and people are very, very welcoming. So for those people who might be new, want to be involved in the classic car community, maybe you have a classic car, but you haven't really been involved in the community. It seems like it's very welcoming. And as Tim mentioned, there are multiple different ways that you can find local car shows and also trade shows, right? They're like Hot August nights, and we were just talking about SEMA. Even though SEMA is only open for the companies themselves, it's more for vendors.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of different trade shows people can go to. I'm going to start going to more so I can network and get to know people as well. So that's really cool. What else do you do? We talked about classic car registration. How does that work?
So it's actually called Classic Reg Service, and my wife and I do it together. So it's kind of a new program in California. I'm not sure how old, but you can come in here. We can do regular transfers. We can do renewals. We do a lot of out-of-state transfers because they require a VIN verification, and I'm a VIN verifier. But duplicate titles. If you lose your title, we can help you get a new one. But we kind of specialize in classic cars. Probably 75% of what we do is classic cars. And I've got the books to know where the VINs are supposed to be and what is an actual VIN number on that old, like a 31 Ford and stuff. So a lot of the other, like the DMV clerks, don't really know what to do when it comes to old cars that well. So it works out good. We're surviving, but it feels good to have people thanking us for helping them. They thought it was going to be a nightmare, and it ends up not being so bad. That's a good feeling. And then the other thing is we have a little, I call it a nicer waiting room than the DMV is our Hot Rod Bookstore, and so we have a little bit of everything. T-shirts, hats, metal signs, a lot of artwork. I love hot rod art. I love pinstriping, flames, that kind of thing. And then we've got a whole bunch of older guys that have a lot of time on their hands that make things for us, and maybe we'll walk around in a minute and look at some of those things. But so we sell some stuff. I have a hotrodbookstore.com website that's where we sell the T-shirts mostly. A few of the books. It's called a bookstore because I have some books. I've got probably at least this many somewhere else at my brother's shop. So I need to get them all here and organize them.
This is actually one of their T-shirts. They do a T-shirt every year. And it's almost the new year, so
I've got an idea for design, and hopefully my designer will come up with something cool again. And I have a little. I still have a car dealer's license. It's called Flash Motorsports. I try to sell 1 or 2 cars a month if I can. Just trying to pay the rent and keep things going. But that's about it. Yeah.
It's so cool that you do so much. And you helped me with my trailer because when I inherited my dad's trailer, I was trying to figure out how to do all the registration stuff. I really don't like going to the DMV because it takes a super long time, and I'll go in there and I won't know what I need. They're like, you need to get this, and then I have to go home and then wait in line again. So it was really nice being able to come in here and talk to you about it. And as you said, with classic cars, not everybody, I didn't even think about that, doing registration and other things with DMV if they don't know anything about classic cars or how to do that. So it's really cool that you specialize in that, because I don't know, is there anybody else that does that, at least locally?
There's a few around. There's a lady in Auburn who's really nice and very helpful, but not that many, no. Most of them do car dealers and try to just run everybody through. They do renewals, which, renewals doesn't really, we don't make much on them, and we're just here as a convenience mostly.
One thing that I love about Tim, and he won't talk about it because he's really modest, and he just likes to do good for other people. So if we're able to, I love being able to support you because like you've helped me so much, and I just watch you. You do your car shows during the summertime every Thursday, and you travel around going to other people's car shows. Could you talk about that? Because sometimes you go and you help with seeing if people win. I forgot. You're, as a judge, you go around as a judge, but you also, like, you were trying to do nonprofit type stuff where you help fund people going to automotive school and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was trying to form, and I'm still kind of in the process of forming it. It's called the American Car Culture Association. It's not nonprofit yet, hopefully one of these days, but the idea was to help fund all these websites and newsletters, and then when I go to car shows, we give out awards, kind of encourage quality, and we give out a couple now, and we'll probably expand that if we get going. Let's see. And then the other idea was we wanted to encourage younger people to get involved in car collecting or the classic car hobby, and to get involved in automotive, technical skills. So so far we've given out one scholarship to a high school senior to go to junior college in the automotive program, and we'd like to do a lot more of that. I met a guy at a car show last Saturday up in Oroville, and there was an older guy and a younger guy, and I assumed the older guy was the president of the car club. Well, no, the 21-year-old was the president.
That's cool.
And he's in the same car club as his grandfather, who I knew and who passed away, and he's trying to get it back going again. It was a huge car club in Oroville, California, and he's doing a great job, and I'm kind of anxious to work with him next year. So.
And that's another big reason why I just love what you're doing, because myself, I don't know very many people my age that are into classic cars, unless their dad or their grandfather was in it. Like mine, he got me interested in it, but he passed before he was able to teach me all the things. So like, how do we think we can get more young people involved? I mean, I really like this YouTube channel because I want to be able to give like an entryway, because I know a lot of different channels that I've seen, it's all professionals talking about it, not from like the new person perspective. But do you have any ideas of maybe like how we can potentially help bring more young people into the community?
Yeah, I think part of it is we have to be more inclusive in the cars. Some of the older clubs are very restrictive on years. And I think going forward, that's not a good policy, because these older guys, and we see it in the prices of cars actually, because the older cars are not as popular because there's not as big a market for them, and so they kind of drop off. So I like when we have our car shows, pretty much anything, it's open to every year model, every kind of car. If they think it's cool, we think it's cool, and I like all kinds of cars anyway, so that's not a hard thing for me, but. Be pretty inclusive. They make all kinds of aftermarket cars or parts for the newer Japanese cars. There's a lot of European cars that are very popular right now. I like going to those kind of shows. There's lots of actually cars and coffees for European cars, and they're generally a younger crowd. Then actually even the lowrider crowd, and I call it the just the kind of traditional hot rod. Most of those guys and girls are younger too, and so I try to go to, like the one I went to in Oroville was a little bit of a younger crowd, and I enjoy going to those, and even though I look like a grandpa, so.
That's really cool though, because then when you bring other people in, then they can see the other classic cars too, and be able to open up more communication, and be able to build those relationships across generations. And that's one thing I really like about, like, I feel like I'm hanging out with my dad, and like Tim's almost become like another dad. It's pretty cool, and I really appreciate it, and know that a lot of people are looking for a place to belong, and especially now I try to look at what events are going on, how, especially after COVID, so many people were kind of secluded, and now they're trying to get back out and meet new people, or reconnect with people that they hadn't connected with for a while. So I love that you're doing that. Now we're going to give you a little bit of tour of the Hot Rod Bookstore. So since I'm holding the camera, I got Tim here. He's going to give us a tour of the bookstore.
All right. Well, we're a little low on inventory. It's because we're at the end of the year. This was our 2023 T-shirts, and then just some random stuff in here, some discounted books and things. My wife has her desk for the Red Service right here behind us, so so she wanted something not so ugly to look at. So, and then if we go farther down here, I've got, like I said before, I love hot rod art and the history of hot rods and racing. That's one of our old friends, Sonny, up there, and that's a '39 Chevy. He was born in '39. They're the same age, and he hangs around here quite a bit actually. And a couple of my racing heroes, Johnny Anderson is a Sprint Car Hall of Famer. He's like I say, he's a Hall of Famer and used to go to Australia, and Australian actually designed that poster, and Johnny signed it for us. We got a French artist that are doing these reproductions of old racing posters, which I really enjoy. A couple of these guys are some of my sponsors for the newsletter, Justified Performance and Meta Motorsports. And we got a lot of work to do, but here's this little display case has some, I don't know if you can see in there, some kind of like the old car club plaques that used to be popular in car clubs. They still are to a degree, but I would like to get one for NorCal car culture at some point. We got some hubcap clocks. And these are kind of cool. These are old, kind of the old models of Indy cars. I think there's a Parnelli Jones up there, and that's what they raced with in the early '60s. And a couple sprint cars down here, but and then all through here we've got books and repair manuals all mixed in. And then above here, more artwork. If you like racing, we have just Bonneville Racing, Don Garnett's poster from Fremont Drag Strip, which is pretty local to us. This Andy's picnic was a pretty famous picnic they used to do in Vallejo. That was the last one they did in Vallejo, and he actually had a T-shirt company, so that's the artwork from his last one, which is really cool, really colorful. These are a couple of big car show posters: LA Roadster Show, West Coast Nationals. And then this is some pinstriping art, which is some of my favorite stuff, by a local guy named Mike Kleins, who's pretty much a legendary pinstriper. He's got that one.
Detail.
And then this one down below, I haven't put that up yet. He's a famous guy. He knows all the big time guys. In fact, over here we've got some of his awards that he won, as a younger guy. Then again, more books in our Hot Wheels selection. Kids still love Hot Wheels. Actually, grown-ups still love Hot Wheels. I need to get some more.
Hot Wheels are timeless.
Yeah. So back this way, we just kind of filled the walls with posters and artwork that we've collected over the years, and bunch of posters here that we haven't even put up yet. People donate to us, like we've got quite a few old racing trophies, and it's kind of turned into half museum, half store, not just because of the stuff we get. It's kind of historical, and at some point want to either have a museum or donate it to a museum.
I could see you having your own little museum. And
well, that was the idea of it. So it's kind of grown, but some more apparel here. That's kind of our little antique shelf back there. I like the old packaging. They went to so much trouble in the old days to, look at the artwork on this valve. This is a valve, and they went to such detail, and the artwork is so cool for something that you're going to throw away, which I enjoy. So, and then some more old trophies that are kind of neat. And here's my little car club section. My idea was to have a section where any car clubs could give us something, either a plaque or a hat or something, so that people come in here and say, hey, my dad's in that car club or something. This could grow over time. So this is where we're at so far, but I think it's a fun idea to have a little section for multiple car clubs to display some of their stuff. And then lastly over here, like I said, I have some older friends that have some time on their hands. And he took these old carburetors and polished them up and painted them and made lamps out of them. He was a paint rep, so he's got these little spray gun displays and cutting torch displays. kind of a lot of cool stuff.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, that's the store, everybody. If you want to come in, we'll give you the address so that if you're in Citrus Heights area, that you can come on by. How do people find you?
So I'm online. They can go to NorCalCarCulture.com. I'm on Facebook. In fact, pretty much every state has its own Facebook page. So Oregon Car Culture, Nevada Car Culture, NorCal Car Culture has a big Facebook page. I share a lot of events on there. I even have an Instagram, NorCal Car Culture.
Two or three Instagrams.
Mostly just the other ones I haven't developed too much
Okay,
yet,
so the
but
NorCal Car
I need help on that. So
I have to give you a little bit of a hand there.
I would say I'm doing for over 60. I'm hanging in there for Instagram. That's about all.
So NorCal Car Culture is your main Instagram then?
Yeah.
And if people want to contribute to your newsletter, if people want to contribute to your car museum or like anything that you're doing, how can people get in contact with you to be able to do that? Like
I say, you go to NorCal and get a hold of me there, or I have a HotRodBookstore.com. They can go there. I have that's where we have the hats and T-shirts for sale. Those help. Or you can just email me, which is tnewey at NorCalCarCulture.com. That's TNEWEY at NorCalCarCulture.com.
And people can subscribe, pay for a subscription for the newsletter to help support what you're doing as well.
Yeah. It's just $30 a year. I tell them it's $250 a month. You get 4 pretty detailed, pretty long email, but lots of pictures of cool cars and the shows. And then if you go to the website, like the last few weeks, there's been over 110 events for each week for a 1-week period in Northern California alone. So a lot going on.
I look forward to getting your newsletters, and it makes it, the way that you write it is super easy to, it tells you the date, where the things are. You can click on it and get more information on those things, and that in combination with, you said, Facebook and Craigslist and all other stuff, like I was using primarily yours when I was going around to different car shows. I'm going to be traveling a little bit further now, but hopefully I can convince Tim to travel with me a little bit. Maybe we can go some places together. But thank you so much, Tim. I'm really excited to see what you do with everything, and I really hope that if you guys found this to bring any value, if you like what Tim's doing, keeping the classic car culture alive, bringing in new, younger people, and just bringing people together in general. If you want to support what he's doing, I'm going to put links in the bottom, but there's multiple ways that we went over today how you can support him. So thank you so much, Tim.
Sure, I'm looking forward to having a picture of your Camaro right out here in front of our store.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Hopefully it doesn't take me absolutely forever to do it. It's already been like 2 years, but yeah,
working on it.
Working on it very slowly. Hopefully, with your help, everybody else's help, I'm gonna be making those baby steps to get it done. Especially with this YouTube, it's keeping me accountable. I do something every single week to either build relationships, learn, or hopefully do actual work on the car. So thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you next week.